Hello, we are Group 15. Our topic is growth in Indian securitization market important to boost ROI of the banks financial institutions? The objectives that we try to cover are the concept of securitization, landscape of securitization in India, the reasons for the slow growth of securitization, the role of securitization in development of microfinance and infrastructure financing in India, suggestions for growth in Indian securitization market.
Securitization. Securitization can be thought of as a technique to produce a wide range of financial products. In its most basic form, it involves two steps. In step 1, a company or originator with assets that can generate future stream of income or receivables sell these assets to an issuer, also called a special purpose vehicle. In step 2, this issuer finances the purchase of the assets by issuing tradable interest-bearing securities that are sold to capital market investors. There are many other players involved in the process, for example, a trustee, rating agency, credit enhancer, etc.
Landscape of securitization in India. The securitization market in India has been operating since the early 1990s. The first securitization deal took place in 1991 when Citibank raised Rs 16 crores from GIC Mutual Fund by securitizing some of its auto loans. Its growth is mainly due to the repackaging of retail assets and residential mortgages that continue to dominate. BFCs and housing finance companies are the key originators of securitization deals in India, while banks are leading investors because of PSL targets. The market has matured in the past decade since the implementation of SARFAESI Act 2002. The securitization market in India can be segregated into two types of transactions: rated PTC transactions, which is another name of special purpose vehicle, and unrated DA transaction, which involves bilateral assignment of loan portfolios from one entity to another without involvement of SPV.
Securitization market size has grown by nearly 140% to Rs 1,98,700 crore in financial year 2019. The direct assignment transactions volume has grown by 161% and PTC transactions volume has grown by 105% in 2019 itself. Within the PTC segment, the asset-backed security or ABS transactions have doubled while the MBS transactions have tripled in just 1 year. The conventional asset classes dominated overall volumes in financial year 2019. Vehicle loans including commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles and construction equipment loans dominated the PTC market in India. Housing loans and loan against property continue to dominate direct assignment transactions with 68% of total volume, as well as the overall markets with 48% of total volume. Lease rentals emerged as a new asset class in 2019. Different types of securitization structures prevalent in India. The first one is fully amortizing structures. The second type is par and premium structures. The third is senior subordinate structures, and the last is fixed and floating rate structures.
After the bankruptcy of IL and FS in September 2018, NBFC faced liquidity crisis. Since then, banks are showing more interest in securitizing their receivables. Through direct assignment and securitization, these institutions get upfront cash payments against selling their loan assets. This helps these institutions during the cash crunch. Another reason that explains this sudden surge in the volume of direct assignment or securitization volumes is the relaxation of the minimum holding period criteria for long tenure loans by the RBI. This increased the quantum of assets eligible for securitization in the system. Also, few big players who stayed away from the market returned after the GST Council clarified that securitized assets are not subject to GST.
Despite all the development in securitization market, India is far behind the countries like US and China. Reasons for slow growth of securitization in India are: the secondary market, which offers an easy exit route to investor, is still not developed; lack of involvement of public sector banks; requirement of prior governmental approval for a non-resident person to invest in securities; there is no mortgage insurance for the purpose of credit enhancement; also credit enhancement is not permitted in direct assignment transactions. Trusts and provision funds, which are major source of huge funds, have limitation on investment in structured products. Involvement of heavy stamp duty at multiple stages of the process. The Act doesn't permit a pass-through structure of SPV, which is bankruptcy remote, tax exempt, and without any employees, and has no other obligation or liabilities. The central government has not included the NBFCs in the definition of financial institution for the purpose of this. Another factor is the conservative nature of the Indian investors. The intermediaries involved in creating a securitized product have to comply with multiple legal provisions like the Transfer of Property Act, the Stamp Act, the Negotiable Instrument Act, and the Registration Act. The guidelines of Transfer of Property Act have many baffling requirements need to be made by the originating banks and the banks other than the originators having securitization exposures while using PTC or DA routes. Also, securitization market involves various risk factors like the credit risk, the counterparty risk, and the legal and market risk.
Role of securitization in development of microfinance industry. Microfinance means priority sector lending, which is loans to farmers and small businesses. Priority sector lending is done by public sector banks and microfinance institutions. Under the public sector banks, a certain portion of their total lending has to be priority sector lending. If they are not able to achieve this target, they can purchase PSLCs from microfinance institutions. Microfinance institutions. These may not be accepting deposits in near future, so their funding will remain inherently limited. Therefore, MFIs will always have to find new avenues of financing. One such avenue is securitization. MFIs can issue PSLCs and banks can purchase these certificates to meet their PSL targets. You can see from the graph that the total volume in 2019 is much more than that in 2018. Role of securitization in development of infrastructure financing. India's infrastructure investment requirement stands at 43 trillion rupees. The private sector is expected to contribute 19 trillion rupees to the overall funding requirements. Some of the key issues and challenges faced by the industry are limited sources of financing, asset liability mismatch, deterioration in asset quality, sectoral overexposure. Due to these problems, investors are hesitant to invest in infrastructure. The public sector banks already have a lot of exposure in infra projects. Securitization can act as a solution to fund debt requirement. In fact, this can become an ideal investment avenue for institutional investors like insurance companies, pension funds, and mutual funds.
Some suggestions to boost return on investment are: in view of pandemic, the government can make it mandatory for the public sector banks to invest in non-PSL as well, in senior tranches to avoid risk. Tax concessions on profits can be given to originators and SPVs to incentivize them. The government can reduce the prepayment risk by making regulations on prepayment in case of lower interest rates. Any regulatory changes in overall PSL requirement under various subcomponents of PSL would significantly impact the market size. The Indian debt market could be developed to increase securitization activity by reducing the amount of government bonds in market to reduce crowding out effect, introducing buybacks option for corporates, encouraging people in rural areas to put their savings in microfinancial institutions so that these institutions become more self-reliant. An uniform rate of 0.1% stamp duty on all transactions should be set by all the states. The SPE should be bankruptcy remote conduit for distributing the income. A true sale of the assets to the SPE will isolate the assets from originator's balance sheet and seek a higher credit rating than the originator's own rating. The government should lay down norms governing investment eligibility for various securitization instruments for hedge funds and pension funds to invest in PTCs. The corporate investors should be actively educated. Once the private placement market for securitized paper gathers momentum, public retail securitized issuance would become a possibility.